And congrats on the special, Mike. It's fantastic.
Thank you, Keith.
I'm not going to mention how much I love it on the show because that's like a power play that I do. But I
Right,
want
right.
you to know personally. Oh shit, we're live. Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
And I'm Myq Kaplan.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Great. Thank you so much for having me. What a surprise. We were just talking and then all of a sudden the show
Oh my
is
goodness,
happening.
I'm the one who pushes the button. There's no debate on who does it now, and I get caught sometimes.
Yeah.
Myq Kaplan, keithandthegirl.com/Myq Kaplan, MYQ Kaplan. You can see all the times he's been on. I thought you were on fairly recently. It's been a year.
A year?
Yeah.
But that's longer than recently.
Yeah, yes. This
We
is
we
what I'm
gotta
saying.
we
So
gotta get me on immediately.
this is working out perfectly because here you are, and you have a new special coming out. It's coming out
Yes.
today is Monday, November 17th. It'll be out November 19th.
Yes.
I saw it and it really is good. It's great, in fact,
Thank you.
and I've only saw it once, and I say that to say when you see Myq Kaplan stand up, I think you need to see him more than once. At least I do. It moves so fucking fast. I know there's shit I miss. You reference it in the show too. You're like, my comedy is like I'm running and the road keeps breaking behind me, and you're like, how the fuck did we get over here? And I'm like, did I miss something? So yeah, I do have to see it more than once, but I'm very
That's
excited for you.
very sweet of you to say. I don't care what anyone says about you, Keith. You're a sweet, nice man.
Thank you. Well, I got an email from Mike today, as a matter of fact. And
Oh?
well, everybody did. If you ever met Mike, if you bagged his groceries, if
If I
anything
bought
ever happened,
something on eBay and you sent it to me, yeah.
and part of this email, just a sweet email. He's very is the word ethereal. You're almost too good and light for this world. Is that safe to say?
That I appreciate. That's kind of you to say. And they say we see the world not as it is, but as we are. For you to see me as that, there secretly must be something ethereal, too ethereal for this world that's inside of you as well.
Oh.
Game recognized game, Keith. I see you.
I don't like this idea though. You see the world how you really are. I think the world's fucking burning, but all right. Okay.
But it's burning and ethereal.
Next thing you know, I'm on the island. But in this email, my gratitude for you. I am glad that you exist in my life and in the universe, Mike writes. Obviously, very personal to me. I'm grateful to you and for you exactly as you are. So if Mike ever complains about something, go, hey, you love the way I am, and you wouldn't change a fucking thing. I'm happy that you are who you are and that you do what you do.
That's 100% true. I stand by it. You Keith, you're Keithin'.
Thank you.
Keith's gonna Keith.
There you go. Yes, of course, I think the world's falling apart. Did you see recently Donald Trump bragged about his latest health tests, including a regularly scheduled MRI, and he says he, quote, aced it. The doctor said my MRI results, which was just a regular checkup, is the best results the doctor has ever seen, and that he aced it. This is my dad. When I see Trump tweets or anything like this, the way he capitalizes words that don't need it and puts things in quotes that are perfectly otherwise normal words, my dad rates like this. And this ace, and that makes me sick because is that in my blood? My dad, I remember he said like he was going to get a job at the Treasury. But he found out where the owner of the Treasury was at the time or something, and he went and showed up, and then the guy gave him tests to be the head of the Treasury, and he goes, and I aced it. I aced the mental test, the background check, the shuttle run challenge. It was the best anybody's ever seen. I'm like, oh no. Oh, you really remind me of a certain guy, and I don't like it. Trump said, now the other thing I took with this doctor, this is a quote, a very advanced test on mental acuity because I think a president should have to do that. And as you probably heard, I aced it. I got a perfect score. I got the highest score. Do you remember, you've been to doctors before? How
Yeah,
have
I
your
have.
scores been?
I mean, here's the thing. If he were doing a character, if this would be a funny thing, it would
Right.
be to go on stage and say, I got the highest score on my MRI. That would be funny. That it
Right.
would be funny, except for that. I mean, I mean, it doesn't matter whether he is intending to do a character. It doesn't seem like he is.
Right.
But yeah, so the fact that people are taking him and it seriously is less than laughable because it does have real world consequences. But to answer your question specifically, no, like I remember doing the presidential fitness test as a kid, and they're
Yes.
like, it's either you run fast or you don't.
Right.
Like how many did you do? Like to think that. I mean, I also kind of understand. Let me say, I can understand the idea of being like, I have the best MRI because he's not aware of the other people. He's like, he's the only one that he's aware of. He's like, I'm the
Right.
only one who's ever had an MRI. Like, I remember seeing this movie. Do you know Barry Crimmins, the comedian who died recently, and Bobcat Goldthwait made a documentary about him called Call Me Lucky, and
Yes.
Barry Crimmins, fantastic comedian, like, politically very aware and intelligent, had a joke about, people are like, well, if you don't like America, why don't you go live somewhere else? And he's like,
Right.
because I don't want to be victimized by our foreign policy, right? Like
Right.
he's a smart, funny man. He fought for the well-being and the rights of like people who were molested. He helped like lobby Congress to make AOL chat rooms safer from people who were sharing child pornography. He was a good, righteous man. He cared about comedians. He helped found the Ding Ho in Boston, where people like Stephen Wright and Lenny Clark and all these people started. He's a good man. And I say this all to say, in the movie, in the documentary about him, somebody said, I think Barry is like the best guy I know. And I had a thing inside me that was like, just one thing inside me that was like, you never met me though. You never met me. Like you didn't compare to all of them. Like I could be the best guy, right? And so that thought, could exist. I feel like these poles inside of all of us, from imposter syndrome to the opposite of imposter syndrome. But yeah, for most of us, we interrogate those things and deal with them internally and talk about them privately and to our friends. Like this man, he does not have an internal experience that doesn't. I can't
Right.
imagine what it's like to what's going on.
I like that this guy fought to make AOL safer, and AOL said, "You know what? It's just easier if we quit.
Yeah,
No more AOL. All right."
that's the way to make it safest is to stop.
Let's see. As you probably heard, I aced the tests. I got a perfect score. Here, MRI's done. It's perfect. I got the highest score. I got a perfect score. And the only reason I tell you that is because I'm a weird fucking liar. The only reason I tell you that is it's one subject, unlike Biden and others, that you could take off your plate. This is Putin and Kim Jong Un shit. Like you know what I mean? It's Putin riding without a shirt on a horse. It's Kim Jong Un saying how he's sent here by God. My results were perfect, and people are like, yeah, I like my president with perfect fucking results.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
sorry it makes the Dems cry. I'm so sorry, but I do love their tears. So
yeah, it's a difficult situation. That's one of my favorite Dave Matthews Band songs. It's a difficult situation. It's a typical situation is the real one. Just don't want anyone to have to do any work there. But yeah, it's really bizarre. I saw a great meme of like Charlie Brown about to kick the football, and like Lucy's like, this time though, for real. This time
right,
I'll let you kick it. I won't just pull it away and make you fall. So like for every new thing that comes out, for everything that he says, we're like, surely this one. And I mean, he is getting a perfect score in something.
right,
He's getting a perfect, like he is perhaps achieving, some of the highest, like he is one of, like, what was his goal, to become the most famous person in the world? Like, check,
right.
he's absolutely, the same way that an asteroid would be the most famous thing in the world if it's coming towards the Earth, about to destroy everything.
Right.
And we're like, wow, yeah, I can't miss it unless you live the life of the movie Don't Look Up. But yeah, it's, Whoo! Well, I mean, he's not here right now. That's pretty good.
The when you have people, do they believe? Do followers of Trump believe this health thing, or are they already committed by putting their personality or point of view online that they can't back down? Do they really believe this dumb shit? And if they do they believe dumb shit at home in their personal lives? If you're a waiter and you wait on a guy with a MAGA hat and you bring out a steak sandwich instead of the lemon chicken, and he goes, "Oh, I ordered the lemon chicken," can you just go, "You didn't, you ordered the steak sandwich"? It's like, actually, I don't eat red meat, so I never would have done that, but you did do it today. Like, can you just, but you can't, right?
I mean, I do think I'm reminded there's an old Bill Burr joke about Arnold Schwarzenegger when it was found out that he was having an affair with his like one of the people that worked for him, like a
Right.
housekeeper or something, and like that was in the news. And he, was denying things. And I think Bill Burr was like, think about it from Arnold Schwarzenegger's perspective. Like, he lived in Austria. He didn't speak English. He's like, I'm going to be the strongest man in the world. And then he became officially, he won Mr. Universe bodybuilding, whatever.
Right.
And then he's like, I'm going to move to America, a place where I don't speak the language, and become the biggest movie star in the world. And he did that. And then he's like, I'm going to become the governor of the fourth or fifth largest economy in the world, the state of California. And he did that. He married a Kennedy. He did that. He did that. And then he's basically like, for 30 years, he's been in the zone. He's like, just give me the rock. I'll put it in the hole. I'll put it in the basket. He's
Right.
like, nothing that ever happened to him. He never, it's sort of like, I read a book where Daniel Quinn, who wrote Ishmael, is in the book Beyond Civilization, is like, civilization seems like it's going up and up and up and up and up, like progress technologically and all that. And he's like, but also that's what it would look like if you have like Leonardo da Vinci's original flying machine that couldn't fly, but like you're like, it goes up into the air, but it's now about to go off it's going
Right.
pretty good so far until it starts plummeting. But yeah, it's so as far as what people believe, I don't know what people believe. I would think that most reasonable people, and I think most people are reasonable. I think that even MAGA people, even, most Republicans at home behind closed doors, not on the internet, if you said, hey, I'll give you $1 billion to truthfully answer, we're going to hook you up to the most accurate lie detector.
Do you enjoy
believe...
Kid Rock and YMCA? Do you enjoy his dancing that looks like he's taking a couple bubbas to the face? Come on, what are we talking about? Yeah, would they tell the truth?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you think that he got a perfect score on an MRI, a thing that is not possible? Do you
That they
do
don't
you
do.
believe it? But yeah, I mean that's not the perspective. That's not the paradigm that everyone is operating in. The idea of like some people think that they can't be happy with enough unless other people have less. You're like, I can't enjoy
Right.
this meal unless somebody
Right.
else is starving. And I don't think that's most people. I think the internet, I think social media amplifies, the extremes because that's what gets the engagement. The people are like, can you believe this extreme, view on whichever
Sure,
direction?
until it's time to vote, and this monster's elected for a second time.
Oh yes, I'm saying it does have real world consequences. That this
Right.
unfortunate, funhouse mirror of society. But like truly, any individual person, for the most part, when you meet a person, they don't treat you like they would treat you when they can't see your face and aren't talking, with your voices.
Right.
If you're seeing somebody online, like you get such a tiny, it's like a job interview is like, just a thin slice of who we are. And they're like, okay, I think I have enough, but there's an infinite iceberg beneath the
Right.
surface. And this is just the tip, and it's not even accurate. It's just the tip with like in drag, in a caricature. So, but yeah,
Ima-
it's a problem.
Imagine you walked into a fucking hospital and there's a list, top 10 MRI results of the month.
Like in high school when they're posting the drama audition results, like
Yes.
who got the lead in the play, who got top MRI, incredible.
Doctors
Uh,
now have to take the time to explain that you didn't get a score, you just have to follow up.
You know what it is, I think? I think he reads it as Mr. I. You know, he's the center of his universe. He's like, I'm
Right.
Mr. I, and I'm the top one. One, you know, I, Roman numeral one. That's me, Mr. I. What is it? Top score? Like, truly, I don't know if do you know Charlie Kaufman, the filmmaker? Did like Being John Malkovich and
Okay.
Adaptation and
Yes.
uh, he wrote a book, a novel called Ant Kind, which is one of the funniest books I've ever read. It was recommended to me by a comedian, Drew Michael, who told me it was one of the funniest books that he'd ever read. And there's
Okay.
one part in the middle. I don't want to spoil anything, but based on what we're talking about, like there's a part where it does, I feel like, imagine and evoke what it is like to be in the mind or consciousness of a being like such as this.
Right.
Like, and it is bananas. And what, because you only know what your consciousness is like for the most
Right.
part. I only know what mine is like. There's no way to know. We can only listen to other people and believe them when it seems like we're, dealing in good faith. And then
Right.
sometimes, I've talked about, like, maybe we've talked about this, the difference between the comedians who are truth tellers and the comedians who are just
Right.
joking. And, like, somebody's like, I'm a truth teller. And then they say something absurd and you're like, that doesn't sound true. And he's like, well, I'm just joking on
Right.
that one. Be like, well, then what are we doing here?
Right.
America, what
Do-
are we doing here?
Do they ever, like Trump and my dad? Right. We can only go by, the way we were put together. I picture they have to be constantly nervous they're going to get caught in this bullshit. Do you think they are?
I mean, I think that's the Bill Burr, Arnold Schwarzenegger of it all, because anytime they have gotten caught, they've just thrown a bunch more, lies at the wall, and they're like, which is kind of, practically speaking, the way you get out of things. Like, because once something's out there, like I knew a guy who maybe his uncle was like he was some guy who helped people disappear from the internet, and the
Okay.
way he helped them disappear from the internet was not by scrubbing them from the internet. It was by adding a bunch of disinformation, like if your name's Keith Malley, creating a bunch of different Keith Malley accounts where some of the information is true and some of the information is false, so that eventually nobody can tell, like, oh, I know Keith grew up Pennsylvania, but then one says West
Right.
Virginia, and you're like, well, then what is the true information? You could have like 19 different social security numbers out there, and like I don't know who is anything, what is real. Like, I mean, I don't know if they're worried about getting caught. I truly believe that people who have the most of the people that we're talking about, who have the most power, be it in the country, the world, your Trumps, your Elons. Like, you must have seen, did you talk about the Joyce Carol Oates Elon takedown from Twitter the other day, or
No.
was there?
No.
Oh, it was. Do you know about it at
No,
all?
please.
Okay, let me briefly tell you. I think you'll enjoy it. Joyce Carol Oates,
Okay.
87-year-old writer. Hold on one second. Don't force quit that. So she posted. No, don't cancel. Don't get out of Google Chrome. I want you to show me. No. Okay. So she posted this. Let's see, where did it go? Everything's great. Good radio here. Really good radio. Looking for
as you're looking it up,
Yes.
I mentioned this on my last album, Nice Try Tricksters, and I don't remember the example that I gave, but let's say it was about the insurrection, and I think it was, as a matter of fact, and how Republicans in power were saying, nah, you misunderstood what happened. It was an unguided tour. Here's a video of people walking in kind of a straight line inside. It's like, motherfucker, I was there. I saw people climbing the building. I saw people falling off the building. I saw fire extinguishers used as weapons. All this we saw it on Fox News when it was live, because it was live and they had to be on top of the story also. So you're seeing the fucking truth and then making it up later. And you're like, oh no, this and that and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm picturing one of these politicians going home, and I make up a scenario where, the dad opens up the kid's bedroom, and the kid kid smoking weed. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? No, no, Dad, anything's fucking possible. So here's what happened. The window was open and I was doing my homework, and it's math. And I'm sorry, Dad, I'm not gonna lie, math is very boring to me. So I started yawning, and a joint flew in the window. Is that what they're called, joints? And it went in my mouth. And I was like, oh God, what's this? And I cough, and that's what you saw. And does the dad go with it because anything's fucking possible at a different angle, or does he go, no?
That seems very unlikely.
We save that kind of talk for work.
Ha.
We're at home now. Don't bullshit me.
Incredible. So here is what she wrote on Twitter, not responding to anything specific, I think. She wrote, so curious that such a wealthy man never posts anything that indicates that he enjoys or is even aware of what virtually everyone appreciates, scenes from nature, pet dog or cat, praise for a movie, music, a book, but doubt that he reads, pride in a friend's or relative's accomplishment, condolences for someone who has died, pleasure in sports, acclaim for a favorite team, references to history. In fact, he seems totally uneducated, uncultured. The poorest persons on Twitter may have access to more beauty and meaning in life than the most wealthy person in the world. To which, she didn't name Elon, but he then started responding by posting lots of things. I like this movie. I like that movie. I like a lot of movies. Books as well, of course. And so, when you ask, are people worried about, I think there's so much more substance to the difficulties, the challenges that they're experiencing, the mental stormscape that's going on internally for them. Who knows how much sadness, how much depression, how much anxiety. You know how much anxiety and sadness you feel on whatever basis that you do. Same for me. Can you imagine for it to come out? There's a book. I read a book called The Way of Integrity by Martha Beck, and she, among other things, coaches people to help them be more spiritually, emotionally satisfied in life. And there's this one guy who she said is multimillionaire, just closed a $200 million deal, and 5 minutes later is miserable again, and he keeps trying to get more and more, like the Mr. Burns on Homer's, you're the richest guy I know, and Mr. Burns is like, yes, but I'd trade it all for just a little more. And that's they're trying to get more and more to fill whatever is missing, whatever is empty, but more is not the direction, because that same guy who made millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, he had told her when he was in his 20s or his teen years, he had nothing, had no money, and was backpacking through Europe, and it was the most happy he'd ever been. And she tries to tell him, she's like, okay, so you had no money and you were the happiest. Now you have the most money and you are the unhappiest. And she's like, eh? And he's like, yeah, I just don't have enough money yet. I got to get more and more until eventually I get the happiest again. It's impossible for us. We don't understand the consciousness of an octopus or a cat. We have no idea. Dogs can smell things that we can't. Birds can see ultraviolet rays, maybe. And other human beings, theoretically, we got the same stuff going on. But on some levels, there's some divergence that we can't experience.
Well, this person's definitely right about Elon doesn't have beauty in the world. He can't see it. He took that beautiful Twitter bird and turn it into an evil-looking black X.
Yeah.
There's something there, if you ask me.
I do think there's something there. That's a great point, Keith. I think we all kind of lost sight about the fact that it was called Twitter, named for the melodious sounds of the beautiful creature, the bird. And it kind of just became the thing that it was. But yeah, at its core, they were like, hey, we're just like little birds chirping at each other. A little birdie told me something. Look at that. Tweet, 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 tweet. X. The Family Feud, wrong. Sorry, bird, not accepted. Not one of our answers. No birds.
The player pass. Look, what the fuck is this? We were just doing sweet shit. Okay, but how about we make it a lightning bolt? That cute blue bird. I thought this was funny in regards to this rumor that Donald Trump may have won the blue Bill Clinton. DG Moore 85 rates on X. If Bill would publicly state that the head that Trump gave was trash, we'd have a full confession by tomorrow. It was the best head. It was
wow. It was the best of heads. It was the worst of heads. That would be. Even if Bill, like whatever the truth is,
Right.
what a cool guy Bill Clinton could be. He has an incredible opportunity to really change the course of history again.
Right. Well, is he going to come up with, this is from, Epstein emails between the two Epstein brothers at the time in 2018. That's something like, hey, Bubba blew you. And people are thinking it's
Ah.
Clinton. Who the fuck knows? There's a lot of shit in those, in this Epstein story is what it seems. So Trump was asked about the MRI, and he goes, I don't know what part, they were looking at in an MRI. Like, you got an MRI, you don't know what they looked at. That's not how these things work. They tell you aced it, but you don't know what they looked at. And again, this isn't just a regular procedure to get an MRI, even if you're the president of the United States.
Just a regular routine brain scan that went perfectly regardless of whether I know what it was for.
A reporter said, was it your brain? And he said, I have no idea what they analyzed, but whatever they analyzed it well.
Man,
okay. And you get like I'm saying, you got these people playing dumb, and I get they do it for a living and pick the side, but god damn it, how do you take them seriously other fucking times? I don't even understand how Brian Williams, who is more left than right, was on he made up that he was in a Black Hawk helicopter some years ago during war, and people that he was embedded with on the ground were like, this never fucking happened. And he got a job again on a different station. Like, you're done. You're a weird fucking liar, and you don't get to give news anymore, whether it's given to you or you're acting like you've looked it up yourself. When Megyn Kelly says, and I quote, I know somebody very close to this case, Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. He was into the barely legal type, like he liked 15-year-old girls. First of all, that's not what barely legal means. Barely legal means you're legal, but
18.
Barely.
Yeah,
it means you're 18. He was the barely doesn't mean almost. He likes the almost legal type. He was into the barely legal type, like he liked 15-year-old girls. He wasn't into like 8-year-olds. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. How do you listen to Megyn Kelly for anything? Quite frankly, not to brag, I was over her when she said, kids, Santa Claus is white, not black when you see him in a mall. Like, that's when I would have been done. But if this doesn't make you done with going, anything she ever says, that's a good point. It doesn't matter how many times her stupid clock is right. This is ridiculous, and there's other people you can listen to.
I agree with you. You know what I realized as you were saying that? What she means is barely illegal. That's what she's trying to say. She's like, it's barely illegal. It's almost not even worth talking about because just in 3 short years, these 15-year-olds will be legal. So what even is time? Am I right? Obviously, yes. Do we like it's like a high school debate. She's like, look, a 5-year-old and a 15-year-old are different, are they not? You got to agree. You got to agree that a 5-year-old and a 15-year-old are different, right? People are acting like he's talking about 5-year-olds. So I don't think we have to go any further into any points or any logic. But people are trying to say that a 5-year-old's like a 15-year-old, and I disagree. The president is good.
Yeah,
so,
you've seen like somebody comes back from maybe it's a sports announcer, it could be a news break, and goes, apologize for the language before that commercial break. Let's move on. I'm like, well, what happened? What I miss? That's what she should do. Like the next day, she goes, and I meant to say barely illegal. Anyways, today's top story.
Yeah, I left out one thing that just meant the opposite of what I was saying. It's just such a small word. Just, you know what I mean? Just such a, like, not, just a, it's not, it's so funny, when people are talking about the technical definition of a pedophile is under a certain age, and then there's a hebephile and an ebophile, whatever. Like, it's so interesting that there are even all of these words in a society where we're like, we agree that people have made these points, dunking on this like all over social media, all over the internet. But the same people who were like, oh, the 30-year-old young Republican men who were saying they loved Hitler, they're just children. But these 15-year-old children, those are basically adults that are fine to lust after and have sex with, which is agreed upon by the law of the land and all reasonable people, a crime, a horrendous one of the top crimes. Like top MRI, top crime. Can't spell crime without MRI. Is that Trump is he's like, I mean, an improviser. He is like, it truly, if he were and he could have been the most famous entertainer in the world, and that would have been but that would have involved some kind of reflection and analysis of what would be the best for, I mean, both me and the world. It would be way better for the world if he continued to make TV shows.
Right. I like seeing where he's at. You bring up how there's the different words for pedophile and this and that, and people actually argue that, and who made it's the dudes that make the laws. It's the dudes that rate the fucking dictionary. And I picture someone's like, okay, but what if I fuck the 15-year-olds? But the ones that are wise, 22. There's gotta be a different word for that.
Yeah, if they were traumatized, you learn a lot from that. Obviously, trauma makes you sometimes grow up quicker. So, but then it's a slippery slope, because then you're gonna start. Well, if I traumatize a young person, then maybe they'll get older and wiser sooner. It's isn't no good.
Now, next thing you know, you're pretending it needs to be a vote if you get more information on Epstein and kid fucking. I don't know, but I don't. Is it even? Who needs it? So we have enough problems. What the fuck?
Yeah, and we do.
And I mentioned the other day how Diddy, Puff Daddy, is seriously looking into Trump pardoning him. He's going out of his way to keep bringing it up. And why not? I've heard people guess, we're all guessing, but that Trump wouldn't, because then it's you're okay dealing with sexual assault, which is related to him, of course.
Of course not. I will not. That would be wrong and bad. You have done things that is not good for people to do. Say I? Yes.
But then also, maybe it's like saying racism doesn't exist. It's like saying sexual assault doesn't exist, and everybody's lying. So yes, of course you're pardoned. I can see Diddy being pardoned by Trump.
Well, that's the thing is it's been said that people who have knowledge don't make predictions, and people who make predictions don't have knowledge, especially in this. Even the biggest experts in any topic will be the ones to say, of course, I don't know 100% what's going to happen. I don't have the perfect MRI brain, obviously. But they're the ones who would say, and now with a chaotic energy like Trump, how could truly, it's almost impossible to imagine anything that he does or says being surprising. And yet everything, it's sort of do you know about the surprise test paradox?
No.
The surprise test paradox is on Friday one afternoon, before school ends for the weekend, the teacher says, next week we're going to have a surprise test, but I'm not going to tell you what day it's on. The day it's on will be a surprise. That's part of the surprise. And so the kids logically are like, okay, well then it can't be next Friday, right? Because if it hadn't happened by Friday, it won't be a surprise, because when it's Friday, we'll know it's Friday.
Right.
So then the last possible day it could be is Thursday, which means it can't happen Thursday either, because then if it doesn't happen by Wednesday, then we know it's Thursday because it can't be Friday. And then they can rule out every day of the week. It can't happen at all. And that's why it's such a surprise when it happens on Thursday. And that's what I'm like, we can't be surprised by anything. He's been so surprising so many times. We should expect it. We should expect to be surprised. But then whatever he does is still outside of the realm of what we even what? No, but not that though. All of a sudden he's no more gravity. You know what I mean? Gravity is against the law now. It's against the law of gravity. Everyone has to fly. I don't think he can do that. But it's it's the law now.
Did you ever talk to somebody like you ever share like, hey, you know about this thing about Trump in the news? And they go, wait, did that happen? It's like it's just yeah. And what I'm telling you is kind of innocuous based on when compared to everything else. But I was talking to Rojo Perez, who by the not Rojo Perez, sorry, Calvin Cato. I don't know why I confused them. Both aren't real names, I guess.
Yes.
But Calvin Cato was on the other day. By the way, he said Keith and the Girl People showed up in a big way to his stand-up show. That it was more than packed. So I don't know
Nice.
if you guys had to watch from outside sometimes, but
More than packed.
That's
Wow.
fun there. More than packed. So I don't know what you do.
It was the most packed it could have been. It was the Trump MRI of audiences.
You hang from the ceiling like it's Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. I don't know how you watch this show, but he was pleased you came out, and I am too. Anyway, I brought up. I said, did you see Trump had his stupid Trump cologne? He was talking to the president of Syria, and he started spraying the president with the cologne like you're walking into Macy's on Christmas Day. And the guy's like, okay, like he's like, okay, like turns away and goes, now put it on the other side of your neck, where that other pulse point is. And he goes, no, I'm good. And he goes, no, you're not, and goes and sprays him again. And then goes, your wives will love this. How many wives do you have? And the president of Syria goes, I have one wife. And he goes, yeah, okay, well, she'll love it. And Calvin was like, no, did this really happen? I'm like, this? This is nothing.
The sanctity of cologne in our country. Yeah.
Right.
I can't, that's a bridge too far.
Speaking of Diddy, though, he did say that he's sober. He told the judge, when he was trying not to, right before the sentencing, he said, I'm sober. Well, of course you're sober. I put you in fucking jail. I haven't caused any trouble. Of course not.
I haven't had a single goblet of toilet wine since I entered the joint. Yeah.
Well, he did get caught on toilet wine. I did. They're calling it homemade alcohol, which is interesting. Homemade, but okay. It was toilet wine, soda, sugar, fruit. They ferment this shit, and
they ferment the shit for real because it's toilet wine. Yeah,
something must still be in there. If they say there's fecal matter on your toothbrush, and I don't know what's in this fucking wine, but all right. It's you know what? Mixing all this shit, it's like a suicide. Did you have that when you were a kid? You would take all these different sodas, put it together. I mean, yeah. I mean, now you call it, you get an unlifing, but you put all the sodas together, you drink that, and they're like, oh, you got that drink. It's like, no, the drink happened to me. But anyway, it's one of those things where you just mix everything together and you hope it fucks you up. And he said he's on a different journey. I'm starting to think this Diddy is bad fucking news. And you can't trust him either. That's what I'm starting to think. So no, do not fucking pardon him. He's lying about his sobriety.
That's really funny. And also, I really like, Keith, that you're on top of the issues of today with the knowledge about like what social media will and will not allow you to say, so that it's so weird that like our language has been shifted by whoever is in charge of the algorithm, and also recognizing like it went by so fast, but I see you, I clocked it that you're like, yeah, and suicide is that something that happens to be suicidality. It isn't a choice that a healthy, reasonable, functioning individual makes, unless of course they are, at the end of their life and they're in, have a disorder, have a disease that is causing so much more pain than perhaps the agency can. But if we're talking about, most people who are, teenagers or just like, my life, a pretty good impression of a teenager. My life.
I believed it. Yeah.
That's Borat as a teenager. My life. Yeah. Yeah, good work, Keith. You're a solid citizen.
Thank you. That's what I want to hear from my comedy. This user writes, his name is Masperate. So I don't know where he's going, but obviously I think I'm pun on whacking it. Masperate says, I'm jumping into this Keith and the Girl subreddit because I'm cleaning out my storage clothes, and holy shit, here's an old school Keith and the Girl shirt. It's very exciting. By the way, storage clothes. That must be nice. You have storage clothes?
I mean, we live in a small New York City apartment, so small that we do have a storage unit where we keep some of our things that don't fit in our apartment. I don't know if that's what he's talking about.
I had one of those storage areas. That was my dining room. I'm like, okay, we're gonna go eat now.
Well,
I can
since you left New York, you've got all the space in the world now.
I talked to somebody on the phone from New York, and I'm like, don't forget, you can come here. I got bonus rooms. I've been here 5 months already. I still get excited about the dishwasher.
Ha!
I last time I had a dishwasher, I was a kid, and that was like punishment. But now, and I pack it up so full, and then I talk to myself. I turn it on. I go, you have to do all that now.
Ha 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 ha!
Go do that. I'm just gonna sit.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit on the couch. Do it. I confess, this person says, I used to listen to Keith and the Girl all the time and just kind of fell off of most podcasts once I couldn't listen at work. I know nothing about the current state of the show, but I hope they're still killing it. I was there for Patrice on Thursdays, Suck a Dick Wednesdays. You talk about changing in times. Newsy, Lick My Suck My. Lick My Suck. I think we can bring back Lick My Suck My. Okay, well, you have a smart brain. You move fast. Let's see if you get this. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do. You'll see what's happening with my poetry. Then I'm gonna ask you at the end, what is the answer to this riddle, if you will? Your
Okay.
choices being balls or nuts.
Okay.
What word would come after what I'm about to perform? Balls or nuts? And I will, of course, write down the answer before you say. Lick my balls, lick my balls, lick my nuts, lick my balls, lick my balls, lick my nuts, suck my nuts, suck my nuts, lick my balls, lick my balls, lick my balls, suck my nuts, lick my balls, suck my nuts, suck my nuts, lick my nuts, suck my nuts, lick my balls, suck my. Hold on.
Balls?
Oh, we were looking for nuts. Did you catch when I said suck my nuts?
Oh.
Lick my balls.
Oh, it's always suck my nuts and lick my balls?
And sometimes suck my balls, lick my balls.
Oh.
But I think if you look back, you'll hear it back. You'll kick yourself. But
you're right. It was my first time playing, so
no, it is your first time playing.
I forgive myself, but that was. I'm glad that I got.
Yeah, no, that was fun.
Look,
Sometimes like a good ribbon is fun. I was there for Lick My Suck My, Matt Mateo, Clown Gigs, Keith's dad in his infamous letters. Dina, I feel like it's probably been too long to jump back in and not be lost as fuck. But this shirt and the signed relationship book I have somewhere are always gold level memories. And I wrote back, you wouldn't understand words coming out of my mouth now on this show, even though you loved the show before, but I still thank you so much for your time and the support you gave. So that's sweet.
That is really interesting. I can see it both ways. Like, I don't listen. There's some podcasts I don't listen to regularly because there's just so many episodes. I'm like, and I feel like I'd have to, like, in order to enjoy the most recent This American Life, like I gotta go back and listen from the beginning and hear all of these completely unrelated stories. Obviously, your life is different. Like, you're the glue. You're the thing that connects all of the Keith and the Girl episodes, but it is hard to imagine that somebody would not be able to like you make it easy. Like, sometimes a comic book will just start over at number 1. They'll be like, look, Batman, it's been going for hundreds, thousands of episodes or whatever, all those issues, and now, but a new on-road for the reader. You don't have to know anything from before. Number 1. But then they get to like another milestone. They're like, well, this would have been number 1,000. So we'll be back. This is number 1,000 again. But so maybe you could just start renumbering. Be like, all right, series 2, Keith and the Girl, number 1.
It's whenever we started, Kemp and me, you didn't know us.
Yeah. I mean,
two people are talking.
We're talking, like, it's so interesting for them to say, I probably wouldn't be able to know what was going on, so I'm not going to listen. I mean, look, hey man, you can just not listen if you don't want to. You don't have to listen. I mean, you're listening, right? Whoever's listening right now, thanks for listening. I'm glad you're listening. And if any, here's what I think, because I realized we can't talk to directly that guy right now because he's probably not listening. But we can talk to the people who are listening to say, go into the subreddit. And if you are listening now and is this your first episode, or did you start a month ago, or did you start in the past year, anytime recently, and do you understand what's going on? Do you understand, Keith? Put it down, comment on that guy's thing. Like, no, actually, I understand why you'd think that, but I just started listening, and I do understand. You even have more context. Like, you saw the original. Like, look, you. If I never saw the original Ghostbusters, will I understand the new Ghostbusters? Like, they're gonna make it. They want people to watch.
What got them into ghosts? Well, you could, if you're curious, you can go back and find that out. I saw the last Harry Potter movie. It was a part 2. That's where I started. Guess what? I understood every fucking thing. I get what a Horcrux is. Nothing confused me, all right? Now, did I miss good stuff also on the way? Yeah, and I can go back. But I wasn't confused for a fucking second.
Man. Yeah. Well, you, Keith, might have the MRI top-rated brain of the podcast universe.
Yeah, I'm a real genius.
I mean, there's some people out there who are confused about a lot of things, and I understand that. So if you know yourself and if you get confused by everything, then maybe something is not for you.
It's funny how people are like so sure about things, like we were saying, but then at the same time, they also like acting confused. Maybe that's so that they never have to stand behind anything. Like, I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but like, I used to think it was, excuse me while I kiss this guy. Then you're an idiot. I think you're just trying to be relatable or fun, but that is stupid. It didn't sound like he was saying, excuse me while I kiss this guy.
I mean, that is definitely something that arose in the public consciousness. I think mainly as a joke. People are like, oh, you could make it sound like that if you want to have fun with that. But yeah, I mean, I love... You're on Threads. I see it. We interact sometimes. And here's one of my favorite recent jokes on Threads that Nick Vatera, you know Nick Vatera, right? I think he posted.
This is kind of interesting, by the way. The special we'll get to, but in the thank yous, I mentioned in thank you, but Nick Vatera is one name ahead of mine. Why?
Oh, it was randomly assigned. It's not not on purpose. All
right,
just because Nick Vatera, they do both come what if I was going alphabetically backwards? No, I wasn't. That's correct. It was a mishmash.
I know it's not backwards alphabetical because I ran it through ChatGPT and I'm like, make this make sense.
What did it have an offering?
No, I'm just kidding. No.
That would be fun to think.
That'd be sick.
But so Nick posted something like this. He said, in real life, a comedian makes a joke and someone says, you must be joking. On Threads, a comedian makes a joke and someone says, you must be serious. Like, there's so many times that it can be, depending on context. Like, I posted something the other day that got a lot of responses from people, like many people enjoying it the way I intended, and many people maybe not enjoying it, or certainly interpreting it in a way that wasn't specifically intended. And the thing that I posted was like, it's been said that placebos actually do like lead to people feeling better. Like there is science to show that even if you know it's a placebo, I didn't say that part, but that's true. But when you take a placebo, like, it does make people feel better in certain situations. I was like, so why aren't we all taking massive doses of placebos all the time? Right? Thank you. The laugh is that's the intent. I'm a comedian. That's a joke. But so many people are like, that isn't how placebos work. And then I'm like, let me do a little research. And there are articles about the open label placebo process, which is that they've done experiments where some people get medicine. Some people get a placebo and aren't told it. Some people get a placebo and are told it. And some people get nothing. And the people who get a placebo and are told it, they know it's a placebo, they end up feeling better, more symptom relief than the people who got nothing. And so I'm like,
I think they're lying to me, and so I make it work.
Maybe. And so there's like scientists who are like, we could study this further to see how we could, utilize this effect in a positive way. I'm not saying don't give people medicine. I'm not saying don't try to cure diseases. I'm not saying just use laughter, right? But like there is, so some people wrote back and they're like, some people just, that's not how they work. And then some people are like, but that's actually, there's the problems of lying to people when you give them a placebo. I'm like, that's true. So like the interesting philosophical discussions, let me say this. One person that I went back and forth with a lot about, I'm not an expert. I don't know if they're an expert. They know some things. Like they're sharing things like reasonably. And I like ask them questions and I'm like, but also this. And also I found this. And at a certain point, they were just like, sorry for doing this so much. Like, I'm just having a really good time, like, with this philosophical exercise. And I'm like, thank goodness, because I imagine they could be, like, angry, right. Because some people, I think, are angry. Some people are like, you are dumb and bad and wrong. And, like, I know that because I've been like that in the past. And I want to assume, like, if there's a way it could be good faith, I'll accept that that's a possibility. And I'll be like, I'm just having fun. I hope you're having fun. But there's confusion.
When somebody's on the shitter and they write, that's not how placebos work. It's funny that there's no other information. Mm-hmm. Not even a lazy link that they didn't read the article. It's like, it doesn't work that way. Send, okay, doctor. Well, yeah. And then what do they do? Like right after, are they like, I schooled him, or do they just go on their, like, I shut this guy down. That's fun. I have a piece of control in my life. I don't have control at work. I don't have control in my marriage. I don't have control with my kids. But here, I took control of some, and then do they forget about it? And that's the end of it. What do we think?
Oh yeah, I mean, can't say what another. I love thinking about it, but I can only speak for myself as a recovering argumentaholic. I used to go back and forth with people way more than I do now. Now, if somebody's mean, I'll stop. I'll mute, I'll block, I'll hide, whatever, right. Which I love. It's like muting somebody is kind of like making it so if somebody's honking their horn at you, it only sounds inside their own car. Okay. And I'm like, great, enjoy, knock yourself out, like deafen yourself with that horn if you want to. But, I mean, I know sometimes when I think I've come up with the perfect response for somebody, I'll be like, I did it. I said what I wanted to say. I think I've proven my point. And then either they never write back and they win for that reason, or I can feel like everyone can feel like they win if you either do or don't hear back. Like, ooh, I gotcha. Got under your skin, didn't I? I was like, no, when it's on my post, I'm like, I'm happy for the algorithm to improve engagement based on your interacting with it. That will hopefully show it to more people who would enjoy what I do. So that's almost always one of the hopes that I have when I respond to somebody on Threads, for example.
Well, the internet interaction is just weird in general in that you thumbs down somebody's thing. That's actually like a thumbs up. Obviously you don't want negative comments on your special, for example, but engagement wise and algorithm wise, a thumbs down is attention, and it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah,
that's set up that way is odd. But like you said, they are trying to get us riled up.
And let me say this though, one way that it's not odd is that in real life as well, like, if we pay attention to something, sometimes we pay attention to things and people that we love, and that's great. Sometimes we pay attention to things and people that we don't love, and that's not always great for us as well. In some way, like they're living rent-free in your head, you hear, like there is a way in which, like, have you heard if you turn the tables on someone, you're still at the table? So there is a way in which real life psychologically also works, that if you thumbs down someone or something in real life, like if somebody goes around being like, I hate Keith Malley is the worst, then, well, that actually does potentially tell people, oh, I gotta check. Like you see a billboard that's just like, I hate Keith Malley. Be like, oh, maybe I should check out this Keith Malley. The sort of Keith Malley's really, really triggered. But it doesn't, depending on how you feel on the inside, when you, like, of course, there's things outside of our control. There's things outside of our experience. Like, we didn't create all of the socio-political landscape outside. And so it makes sense to, if people are being harmed, to be like, hey, I'm going to address that. I don't like that. But sometimes we can go too far and wallow so much, in the negativity in a way beyond a way that will help anyone, help them, help us, that truly, like, it's certainly not good for us, and it could be good. It's like the no publicity is bad publicity thing. Like, people outside, like, it does help them in some way, or it certainly doesn't hurt them for us to be, mad at them and they don't know about it.
This person, Masperate, rates back. LOL, same killer wit that I remember. Back when I was a regular, you would come to reference so many things. You'd have to be a regular listener to be in on it. I don't want to, downplay your intelligence, but it felt like an exclusive club. I didn't mean to imply this show would be inaccessible to someone new, but looks like that's exactly what I did. My B. Now downloading the newest, and the emoji face where he's like covering his eyes, like he's like, embarrassed or peeking. So, hey.
Hello.
Hey there.
I thought we couldn't talk to you. We can talk to you, and we don't have to. Everyone, no, you don't have to go back to that subreddit now. Problem solved. Problem never existed. Taken care of.
He's here. Looking back in the last hour, did you understand what we were saying?
Oh, I'm Myq Kaplan. Hello, a comedian, a friend of Keith. Been on the show a triple-digit number of times, but you don't have to listen to every one of them to know what's going. It is nice. I mean, you can benefit. Like, you can be like, oh wow, how am I different from the way that I was before? How am I the same as the way I was before? These are questions.
It's fun to go back. When I learned that one witch teacher can turn into a cat. What? Are you kidding me?
I was like, wow, what episode of Keith and the Girl did that happen in?
So in this special, you and your girlfriend who pops in and says hi for a second, you really are cute as punch. And I must have asked you this before, but let me ask you again. What's the last thing that got you upset? I've never seen a Myq Kaplan upset, and you've been implying you're human. When do you go a little nuts? I just hit my head on something and yelled "mother cunt."
Sure.
What goes on over there with you?
Sure. Thanks for asking. I love the phrase implying you're human. I think that could be a great name for a news special or a show or something. Well, let me say, I will answer your question, but first let me say that whenever I'm talking to you, I'm in a good mood because you're fun to talk to and we're friends. So you might be, like Pagliacci the clown, the only person who cannot be entertained by Pagliacci the clown. You, because of my relationship with you and how joyful it is, you rarely see me. And here's the answer. The most recent thing that got to me was right before we started recording, I got a text and I typed and you could hear me typing and you said, what's that? And I said, I got to tell a guy that I'm not available. And he was asking, it was a booker who was asking if I was free on a certain date in February. And I'm not free on that date because I already have a booking on that date. So I said, I'm not available. And then right before we started, and I haven't gotten to write back to him yet, he wrote back, hey, there's a gig that pays like this much money, and it's like a considerable amount more than the one that I already have booked. It's not for sure. He's like, I want to pitch you for it. He's like, but so can you move that other date? Can you get out of that date? And so number one, I don't know. I mean, I can, but I don't know if I want to or if that would be the best thing because I like to keep my word and not cancel on people. But I think also the people running the show would understand, even though like I just got, the link and they just put it on their site and they made a poster and that's like work that they've already done. And I don't want to, be rude to that person. And so that's all flowing. So is it worth saying to that person? So I'm having all of these experiences. And also I know that the guy is waiting for a text back from me that I'm like, I don't want to be rude to you, Keith, and be like, hey, hold on one second. Right. While we're podcasting, let me text back this guy and email this other guy and try to figure out this work thing. So I feel like a lot of the time, the things that make me feel not my favorite way are, the uncertainties of the future. Like, where will my money be coming from in 4 months, in 5 months, in 6 months? But also, like, the people who respond to me online and don't understand or argue in bad faith or even just whatever they do. Like, when I posted recently, I said, you win 100% of the online debates that you don't participate in.
Right.
And a lot of people liked it. And a few people jokingly wrote back, no, or that's not true, or argue. And for a lot of people, somebody wrote back something, whatever it was. And I was like, I'm going to go for engagement and just not engage in the debates, but just say, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Thank you for writing. And then one of those turned
that's
into,
even worse.
oh yeah. One of them
Fuck
turned
you.
into the guy saying to me, well, now you are participating in this in this debate. And I'm like, I think that depends on what you mean by participating in debate. And in one sense, he's right. But in another sense, I got to the
joke.
yeah, exactly. And I get to the end and he's like, well, aren't you debating? And I'm like, yes. And I'm not winning, which is my point. So I'm not winning, but I am right that I shouldn't have done this.
That's what that when I get to that point, I write back like, are you real? How is this real? How's this happening? What is your now I'm invested in your whole life. Where do you work? What do you do when you get home? Do your kids respect you? Is your wife fucking your friend? I'm so invested now because you wrote one little thing that's so stupid.
And that's the thing is we never know where somebody else is coming from in their life, in their mind. The placebo one, somebody wrote back something, with some scientific knowledge. Right. And I wrote, they said, this is what they said. I remember exactly. They said, hey, a little science literacy and you could prevent yourself from posting things like this. And I wrote back, why would I, a comedian, prevent myself from posting jokes, right? And then he wrote back, well, I didn't know that you're a comedian. Or she wrote back, whoever it was, they wrote back, I didn't know that you were a comedian. I looked in your profile and it doesn't say anything about that. And I was like, is that true? And it does have, like, in a bubble, comedy listed. And it does say, like, new special coming out, but it doesn't say comedy special.
Hold on, I'm looking at Myq right now.
It's my Threads profile now should identify, it should have the word stand-up and or comedy in there, and that was a help. This person, unbeknownst to maybe it was their intent. Their intent was to help me in one way. It was to help me not post dumb things about science because they're like, I mostly have medical stuff going on in my threads. Like that's all. So somebody showed me this because it seemed like a medical thread, and I don't know who you are. I don't know that you're a comedian. I'm like, well, great. It's important. I want people to know that I'm a comedian. So I'm like, I want that to be first and foremost, but that isn't what happens on Threads. Some people get shown jokes and think that they're true. Some people get shown true things and we think that they're jokes. So it's confusing.
This guy didn't know if he'd be able to follow Keith and the girl anymore, but these guys can just be like, yeah, I don't know anything about you. You're wrong about placebos. And I checked your profile. I don't see anything about faith and family.
Yep.
No flags. You must hate this fucking country.
Hey.
How do you, I think these people, they see anything online and they think it's about them. And you wonder, like, these people, how do they walk around then? How is their head on the swivel? If a car honks, they must assume it's them. Like, that must be a hell of a way to live.
There's a thing when Dan Savage, whose podcast I love and whose advice column I love, he sometimes talks about, like, he gives sex and relationship advice. And he says some of these people call in and they're like, I have this kink. When should I, like, share that with people? If it's like a thing, is it a first date thing? Is it a second date thing? Or if I have herpes, when should I share that? Is it maybe it could make somebody turn off immediately, but if you tell them too late, then that's unfair. And so Dan offers, he's like, there's a time that you should obviously tell somebody, like, before you sleep with them, before this or that. And he's like, but don't come at it like it's shameful. Come at it like it's, a superpower that will allow you to tell them one thing about you, and then their reaction will tell you everything you need to know about them. Like, a new thing for me, this isn't new, but my eyebrows are big because Rini loves me not cutting my eyebrows. And so sometimes.
What is that? By the way, what do you think that is? And also, I remember one time, like, was it, You had Excalibur, an
Oh
eyebrow hair
yeah.
that was down to your ass.
Ha ha ha. It was like
Uh,
a 3-inch eyebrow that went a little viral, and people really, it was during the pandemic, so people were excited to have, any kind of weird, joyful news. But yeah, she's like fascinated by it. I couldn't
but
tell
do
you.
you?
Yeah.
But when you're just so I feel like in that you're special, or you hear people hear you on Keith and the Girl, you definitely know how to close every thread, and I feel like almost like things are just so, and it's like having a hair that's out of place and way too long. Is that almost rebellious?
Hmm. I mean, for me, it's about the same thing that the special's about. Rini loves it, so I love it. I allow it. I let it. And you'd have to ask her specifically to delve into the details. But the reason I bring it up is the eyebrow itself is kind of a Rorschach, where if I
Okay.
meet somebody and I'm like, yeah, these are the eyebrows, my girlfriend loves them. Some people are like, cool. And I'm like, then you are cool. Some people are like, okay, and you are okay. And some people are like, no. And I'm like, well, then you are no. And so
Right.
whatever their reaction reveals to me, like
We'll be
something
friends.
about them. And so that is why, like, there's another thing, Rini. Here's the thing. Do you ever do this? You ever hear like you can tell a lot about a person by blank, by the way they're
Sure.
something. So do you have any of those for yourself? How can you tell a lot about a person?
I could by definitely online how they begin an engagement thing. I could tell if they're a
Oh
good
yeah.
or bad person, good faith, bad faith. Um, I
Well,
don't know.
that's a
I think
perfect answer. Yeah.
okay. Thank you. I'll take
Uh,
that one.
I'll say now, Rini's version of that is she says you can tell a lot about a person by what they say you can tell a lot about a person by. And
Mm,
so if somebody's
okay.
like, it's the shoes they wear, well, we know shoes are important to you. If it's
Right.
like the car they drive, well, then you're the person who cares about cars. We know that about you. So back to for whatever people are seeing, if a car honks and they're like, was that about me? Like,
Right.
who knows? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But like, we're all interpreting. We all only have our own cockpit that we're working with and looking at everyone else, the outside of their airplane. So we're like, we only know what's going on inside of ourselves the best. And then outside, we're like, we're making our best guess based on what people are sharing with us or not sharing with us, but revealing nonetheless.
Do you ever complain out loud like, "What the fuck"? You ever do that? Would people catch that on hidden camera?
Yeah, I would say one of the times that happens the most is historically if I'm on the phone with customer service and like the system isn't working or they're like, oh, I'm not the department you should be talking to. We got to get you over to the next
Yeah.
department. I'm like, no, but they sent me to you. Oh, God, why did you do that?
Right.
So that will happen. I used to get upset when car horns honked unnecessarily. That's one of my, like, light turns green,
Right.
9 cars back, honks, even though there's like, ducklings and, old women crossing
Right.
the street and everyone who's anywhere near it can be like, yeah, there's no way, bah, 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 bah,
Right.
So those are things, and these are things that I like am endeavoring to work on to, like, I'm not trying to ignore or avoid that I have that momentary experience of anger, of frustration, but I try to, a moment later laugh at myself for having it because I'm sure that I also, for all the meh, 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 like
Right.
there's people who think that I am an annoying car horn as well. So like who am I to judge another annoying car horn when I am at my core at times an annoying car horn?
I think this is funny. So I hate car horn honking. I've been in New York 30 years. I hate the car honking. I hate a baby crying on a plane, but I hate even more than that the people that it feels to me are exaggerating how much they hate it. That I'm glad it's happening. Like, I'm baby crying. I'm like, this isn't blowing your fucking mind. And yes, that's too bad, but we're gonna be okay. And I'm like, please cry more. Cry the whole fucking time, and I just want to study this person. That how do they live?
Yeah, you're a curious person. You want to study how people live.
That's all.
Ha ha! You're like a scientist.
Do at the closer to the end of this special. It's called Rini, Rini, again, coming
Yes.
out Wednesday. You do, of course, you throughout the thing, you're always, weaving and bopping. But at one point, like you really tie things together and you're rattling off a quick list. And obviously it's very impressive. I would like to see, that doesn't seem like something you necessarily practice on stage as you go. That seems like something that needs to be practiced alone in your house. I want to see video where you're like, this, and this. No, the other. Fuck!
Ha ha ha
I had like
ha.
in one of my stand-ups, I had a list where what would I do if I had mind control based on the bad guy in Jessica Jones. He doesn't do anything fun. I would make you do fun shit. I just rattled off a list, and I practiced only at home. But I would get to like number 5 and fuck it up and be like, ah, fuck. Did you lose your shit? Fake lose your shit, like alone practicing that.
For that, not specifically, but something almost an exact parallel to that I wish there was audio of what I'm about to tell you, but there isn't as much anymore because whenever I record the intro to my podcast, I always say something like, the same basic stuff at the beginning, like, welcome to Broccoli and Ice Cream. Thanks for listening. You can get the bonus on Patreon or subscribe to Apple Podcasts. And, every week I have a guest where we talk about, the work of their life, the broccoli and the joys of their life, the ice cream. And I speak to a guest, a friend, an artist, a performer, a comedian, a musician, a writer. And I go through all of this. Right. And, I could just, Rini at one point asked me, she's like, why don't you just, record that once, because you could just have that be in there every time. And then when you get to the guest, when you get to the new information, you could share that and the reason she asked that is because a lot of the time when I'm recording it, I will get to 35 seconds in and I'll be like, a guest, a friend, God damn it. And so for a few years ago, we had this conversation where because she's just hearing that. She's just hearing me in the other room. She's just like, hey, do you think you've done it perfectly before? Do you want to just do it perfectly once? And I'm like, I like doing it. And she's like, it doesn't sound like you like doing it.
How is this? Yeah, I see every movie ever made, and I hate most of them. And so when I go to see a movie now, friends will be like, well, they'd be like, enjoy. Well, I mean, do what you do. You're paying money. You must like something.
Here's two things that reminds me of. That's beautiful. Number one is Zach Sherwin, who you might remember,
sure.
Friend of mine and yours.
We talked to him recently. Yeah, it's doing good.
So he introduced this into my life. The idea that if somebody's going to, let's say, a protest or a funeral or, something that's not a purely joyful experience, has some sort of, grief or challenge associated with it, like, instead of saying have a good time there, so like have a meaningful time, so I'll say that have a meaningful time at the movie, Keith, have a whatever. So that's one.
Well, I don't want to fuck, but that sounds like pressure. To me, that's I have to make Predators meaningful.
I think you're up to it. I think you can.
I don't even like when people tell me, have a great day. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. I'll make it the best.
Well, I'm going to figure out what to say to you, Keith. One day I'm going to figure it out. It's been 17 years. I'm going to get there. And but my great-grandmother, I learned, used to live on like Central Park, West or South, like somewhere. And she would go to a movie theater. This is like 60 years ago or something. Right. She would go every week they had a new movie maybe, or every couple weeks. And she would go to literally every movie like you. You're like my great grandmother. That's why I feel a kinship to you. And my grandma, Henrietta, she would go and she would like none of them. She would go in, she would come out, she would complain to like the doorman of her building whatever. She's like, how was the movie? It was no good. Every week it was no good. And at one point he just asks her, months and months down, he's like, it seems like you have never enjoyed a film. Why do you keep going? She's like, I just love the movies.
Right. Right.
Like, no specific movie ever, but the movies.
That makes sense to me.
I feel like that's like you. That sounds like you love the movies.
Yeah.
But you hate movies.
Yes. It can't be clear. You talking about your introduction if you fuck it up and you get I get him, we know this, but we get in our heads when it's by ourselves.
Yes.
And nothing, and sometimes nothing is wrong. When I'm with you, like right now, I'm half stuttering. This is completely fine. I'm fine with that. But if I'm by myself and I'm like, welcome to Keith and the Girl, I'm Keith Mala. Did I say Mala? Fuck it. Who cares? And when I started doing podcasts, I would do podcasts by myself sometimes. And I like it because it's scary. But it took the longest time for me not to start over because it's not live when I'm by myself. Nobody's listening at that time. And I'm like, I'm 5 minutes in, but does anybody give a fuck? Who cares? Because I tripped on a word. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I'll even say I think it could add like an endearing humanity to it.
Yes.
Like instead of, word perfect, every syllable like a robot, like it's, something that really connects. And, the way that another analogy to online, I forget who the first person I saw post this, but the idea is like, if you want a lot of engagement on your post, make sure that there's either one typo or like one factual inaccuracy, and then people will come out of the woodwork. So one thing that's slightly wrong, like the Matrix, like the robots are like, we tried to give you perfection, perfection. Oh, God damn it. We tried to give you a perfect utopia, and your brain's rejected it. Like, so you want to have something that doesn't even have the uncanny valley-ish effect of near perfection. We want it to be human. Like Ram Dass says, like, if we look at a cloud or a tree, nobody's ever like, that tree isn't symmetrical and it should be symmetrical. But for ourselves, we look in the mirror, we look at other people, and we're like, well, why that part of nature is imperfect in some way? So yeah, I absolutely. There's definitely been moments in this podcast where I'm like, I've been going on for a while about this, and I think I'm gonna come to a parentheses that's gonna wrap it up, and I'll just make it sound like an ending, and then Keith will jump back in.
I use a Chat GPT, but to write things, but I'll make a mistake deliberately inside it so it doesn't throw you at the end when it says other notable acts include, and they're like, no, I think this must be real. So this special, and your girlfriend's name is Rini.
Yes.
Rini. Before I saw the show, I'm like, is it short for Renizabeth? It's gotta be short for something. And you mentioned in the special, like, it's short for Catherine.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, sure, why not? You fucking weirdos. MYQ, Rini short for Catherine. And then you mention it quickly as if this is going to fucking solve us thinking why. It's like, well, Catherine, then that became Rini Catharini, so now it's Rini. Okay, you guys are all caught up, all right?
Yeah.
Was that just like a cute family thing? It went from Catherine to Catharini?
Yeah, when she was a small child, her mother is the first person and the originally only person that would call her Rini Catharini, or just, I think it started from Catharini. Her name was Catherine, and so she went Catharini, just like a little diminutive nickname at the end, like, Mikey, Catherine, Catharini. Like, it's a common enough thing. And then Catharini then got shortened to Rini, which at times got lengthened to Rini Catharini. So yeah, the longer story, you know what I did? I Mark Twained it. You know the Mark Twain thing where he's like, I'm sorry I didn't have time, enough time to write you a shorter letter, and that's why this letter is so long. And that's not the way he said it, but basically I did have enough time to make it shorter, and that took out some of the information that made it actually make sense to you, like right now, if it did make sense to you right now.
What do you say during sex? Do you say a name?
My own. No, that's
You're doing great, Mike.
Good work, me. Yeah. No, just pronouns.
Right. She.
Yeah. Number first, sincere answer. That's private, Keith. And continuing joke answer. I mix it up. Have like you can't pin me down. I keep it exciting.
Okay. I remember asking my girlfriend Liz, I go, do you prefer, with us, Liz or Elizabeth? And she goes, Elizabeth. I'm like, why'd I ask? Shit. All right. I love it. Good.
That's really nice. That even in I wondered why you went with Renizabeth, but it's you wanted to get
That's
your
what.
own girlfriend in there. That's
That's
really
right. Well, I mean,
sweet.
Mike, a lot of fucking pressure. Okay, this show, I do wonder if you're going to get some kind of pushback. In that the special's great, but in that you are so clear how much you love this person and how
Mhm.
other people weren't right for you, which obviously that's how life works. But I can see exes being offended, and I
Ah,
can see other people getting getting nervous. Like, do I got to make a special and call it my girlfriend's name now? Like, what the fuck is this bar he just set?
come at me, everyone. I mean, everyone. Thanks for watching it. That's what I want. I think that my exes. I think this is a perfect. Like I don't know what it is, but it's a perfect one of them, an MRI scan. And the thing that it is most of like the people that I've dated who I'm still on like I have some exes that are still very good friends, some exes that are good friends, some exes that like, because there's a closeness that transcended, the fact that the relationship was romantic. We might have been friends before and now we're friends again. And some exes that I'm not friends, like I would say that we're still friendly, but there's some people that I've dated that
They're
we
not
don't.
egging your house.
Yeah,
We're
no,
friendly.
they are not egging my house. And I guess I would say for the people that I'm closest with, the people that are still in my life, the people who are
Right.
likeliest to watch the special,
Right.
like those are people who wouldn't be offended, who would understand that the ways in which Rini and I are right for each other, and the way, like, don't match up with the ways that the incompatibilities of those relationships and the way that they ended. I don't think that anyone is out there pining after me in a way that's like, I think we should still be together. I think like you were
Not even
wrong.
that.
Yeah.
And they, even if they broke it up, but still, I could, almost like you saying how the one person said, in that tribute, hey, this guy is the greatest guy in the fucking world. Like, you didn't meet me. I picture they don't mean it necessarily, but they could be upset and be like, oh, really? You had commitment issues. That's why you went poly. And this person's perfect. That's interesting.
Yeah, I acknowledge that there could be people like everything that all the relationships that I was in the past, I did my best to be honest about where I was at the time. There
Right.
were times when polyamory and open relationships were what I thought were the best model and what I was aspiring to. And that, since being with Rini, Rini, this is the longest relationship I've ever been in. And it is certainly the longest monogamous relationship that I've ever been in. And in a way that I would say is not even monogamy, but like Rini-ogamy. Like it's not about
Right.
monogamy. It's not about being with one person. It's about being with literally this person, Rini. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't want to make people feel bad, but I do want to share
You gotta
like
love. You gotta
I
love, and you gotta do a whole special on one woman that you've
and
never done before. Absolutely, of
and
course.
other comedians out there. Yeah, I mean, look, if you don't want to make a special about your partner and how much you love them,
You
then
don't have to.
all it means is that our love is better. That's all
Right.
I'm saying.
What interests you, you have to
Yeah.
talk about, and you're talking about politics. Interesting. Do you think the poly community is going to be upset at you because you sold out?
Uh, a fine question. A very gotcha way to say it.
Thank you.
I think I could see similarly. I could think some misguided or unreasonable members of the community
Okay.
might. I could see people being. Yeah, I could understand if people were disappointed. But I also think that
We
people
don't
the
have commitment issues, and we love the poly lifestyle. Now you're making it sound to us like we're confused or
oh
not in touch with our emotions.
You know, it's been said that if you meet one autistic person, you've met one autistic person, that not everyone on the spectrum manifests the same way. And similarly, I would say for polyamory, like some people have just a closed triad and they don't date anyone outside of it. Some people don't have any lasting relationships and just have what they call relationship anarchy. There are some people who have a partner and then have a hierarchical structure where they have a primary and then secondaries and different levels. And so I think that similarly, there's no one way to, there's not even one way to be monogamous explicitly. Like some people think that, looking at porn is cheating. Some people that kissing someone else isn't cheating. Some people think that having a threesome together is fine. Some people think that that's not monogamy. And so
nobody really believes the kissing isn't cheating, by the way.
Everyone gets to decide for themselves individually and with their partner or partners what works for them. And I think that the true spirit of polyamory, as I practiced it, was that I didn't want to close myself off to any potential love and joy in my life.
Right.
Love and joy.
Love and joy, right.
Love and joy in my life. And now being with Rini, I feel like that is the culmination of that purpose, because being with Rini is limitless love and joy. And then also I can still, of course, I can be polyplatonic. I can have this friendship with you and all of the friendships with all of the people that I have in my life. And, I'm at a different stage in my life now. And I think that there are people who are polyamorous who can and will and would understand where I've been, where I'm coming from. I don't think anyone will think that, maybe they will. Maybe some people will think that I'm speaking for the entire polyamorous community. Let me say it here as an exclusive. I'm not.
People are different, you're saying.
I am saying that, and you and me, we're the same in how we know that people are different. I think that if polyamory is right for a lot of people, and I think monogamy is wrong for a lot of people, and right now, Rini is right for me. So this is a limited, one time only, this incarnation, get it while it lasts. Like that's where I'm at. But yes, you're right. Some people could be upset at how I've found happiness.
You would say you're heterosexual, right? I know that might sound weird, but you go by he, her, of course, she, right?
I am a cisgender man, and I am a heterosexual man. So far, that seems to be in alignment. I was assigned male at birth. A joke I say is I accepted my assignment.
Do you feel like it's a shame that you're just in a heterosexual relationship? You have the brain to do fun, fucking weird shit, and you just did what's in the Bible.
Yeah, that's a funny, good question. You're right. I will say that I have absolutely been attracted to people who are not women. I have actually been. I have hooked up with people who at the time might have been female identified or leaning in that direction. But I have been with people who are I've not only been with cisgender heterosexual women. Right. And so I'm not meaning to, appropriate any kind of queer glory. I'm an absolute ally to the queer community, to the trans community. I think that by and large, again, Dan Savage sometimes talks about a three-layer cake of people's sexual orientation and identity, and it's like on the inside, the deepest layer is who you're attracted to, right? Then on the next layer, it's who you interact with, who you hook up with, who you do things with, actually physically in the world. And then the next layer is what you tell people and how you identify, right? So if on the inside you're a man attracting to men, and then you hook up with men and you date men and you marry men, and then you tell people that you're gay and that's what you do, then you're in alignment. But some people do the first two, but not the third. Some people just do the inside, but not any of the outsides. And he says, the closer you are to having all three of those, your feelings, your actions, and your identity, as you express it, the more in alignment those three are, the healthier you'll be. For me, for the most part, I am mainly attracted to women. Is it a shame? Maybe. But look, this is just the way that God made me, or the universe. This is how I spawned into this existence. Could it be different? Might it be different in the future? Who knows? But for now, I'm and I almost, I understand you'll have a reaction to this, like I almost did as well. I'm a Rini sexual, Keith. I'm attracted, that's my number one on the inside, the person that I love the most, that I'm attracted to the most.
That you found her.
Yeah, thank goodness. I didn't even know. It was latent.
Do you think was something like, oh, you have a weird name like me? That's cool.
I mean, when I met her, she was going by Catherine.
Okay. Were you nervous for a second? Like, oh, I dated a Catherine once. Can't you have a different name? Like, I'd rather
I
you had a
mean,
different name.
truly, like when I met her, I was like, she is. When I first saw her, when I first remember seeing her, I was like, that is a beautiful woman. Like, I feel like classically, like, conventionally, like, I mean, doesn't matter to me that she's conventionally attractive. Like, it matters to me that she's gorgeous to me. Like, she is attractive to me. And also, by like many societal standards, like, she is a beautiful lady to many, to the point that sometimes, like, I feel like I had this in college. Like, when a beautiful woman would talk to me, I'd be like, don't you know that you could talk to, other people, like, other, people that match or whatever. But ultimately, matching on the outside isn't what's important, because like finding out that she is a weirdo, that she is like really, different and awesome and, neurodivergent, and like that our brains, we're not identical by any means. We're in fact, in some ways, like very much like she's a person who is very at ease in space and movement, and like has good like observational skills in the visual world, whereas I will sometimes, she like dyed her hair from blonde to brown and I didn't notice until she told me the next day. Or I'll be like, that's a cool painting hanging on our wall, and she'll say, oh cool, I put it there 6 months ago. And like, I don't, like, she operates in the physical realm,
That
and
never
I
bothered
operate.
her, by the way, when it's like you didn't even notice my hair and you're like, I want you to do it for you.
I think she viewed it as a curiosity, I think
Right.
she was like more curious than furious, That's like her natural inclination. Like, she's not a big, like, she can feel anger, but that's not her like go-to emotion. Like, she
Right.
might be like frustrated or sad or upset about something, but not that. That was a curiosity for her. But I say this all to say, like, wow, like discovering that the person that she is on the inside is so compatible with me in many ways, like the things that we complement each other, the things that she has, like where she's great in space, I'm great in time. Like, I help, I help get us to, the flight on time, to the
Right.
movie on time, to the this on time. Like, she's deputized me to be able to, like, she's like, if we have to be somewhere at 1, and I know we have to leave at 12:30, like, she's like, tell me a different time. Like, I'll be like,
Right.
yeah, we got to leave at 11. And then she's like, okay. And she knows that it's not true, but she's like, I'm going to try to get ready to leave at 11, and then we'll be ready to leave by 12:30. And
When you
so, yeah.
mentioned like a classic beauty, I agreed, but they got to do different things, so that's going to take a little time.
That is true, and I mean, I've certainly told her, and I feel this way. Like, the ways in which, like, if she rolls out of bed, doesn't put makeup on, doesn't do any of the things that you're talking about to become like the picture of, the mask of beauty.
Right.
Like, to me, the way she is without anything is like almost 100% equivalent to when she does it, when she puts on, makeup and a nice outfit or whatever. Like, I
Right.
can acknowledge it, I can recognize it, and be like, I see that you have done it, and you look beautiful now, and you look beautiful in sweatpants, So, but yeah, I do get it. But it's even more than just it takes her extra time. It's that she has a less awareness about the
Gotcha.
time that things take. She's just like, I exist now. I like, later doesn't make sense. And I'm like, I exist in time, and like things existing in space. Like, I bump into way more things than she bumps into, because I'm like, I'm busy thinking about the future, not about a pole that I'm walking into.
What do we
Um,
think about people that are late to things? That it's selfish, and that it's it's not an accident.
Uh, I think that it is. I mean, I'm willing to give people the benefit of the doubt, because I don't think it's selfish. I think that it is, for many people, like an internal distinction. Like, if you love someone, if you know about yourself that you are someone who arrives late and, habitually, and you don't care about it, you're like, who cares? Then, I mean, ideally, either hang out with other people who also do that,
Right.
and but if you like fall in love with someone or are good friends with
You're
someone,
stuck then. Yeah.
then I think you can, like, when Rini used to have like a day job that required her to be at it at a certain time, like these days, today, right now, she's at ASL class. She's taking sign language classes, and she loves it. And they start at a certain time, and she makes sure to get to those on time. So if something is important, I think people have the capacity to, if not change
That's
completely
when it
who
gets
they are.
personal. Like, oh, interesting. I'm not in the ASL class. I was just waiting for you for lunch. That's interesting.
But for me, the practice has been to learn to put like, I'll show up and I mean, here's what I'm really, what I'm grateful for? I'm grateful that Rini doesn't show up to places on time because one of the guys that she dated like right before me, like a couple years in the past couple years before me, he one time they had a date and they were supposed to meet at a restaurant and she was texting him that she was running late and she got there a half hour late and he had left. And I'm like, good. I'm glad that he left that restaurant.
But baby,
so that,
you could be on time now.
I mean, but this is, part of her history, part of who she is. And I love exactly who she is and truly don't need or want her to change. And it helped me change in ways that, like, if we're meeting somewhere and I think, and it's not urgent, like, what is it? If we're meeting for dinner and we don't have anything to do later and we're not trying to catch a flight, if we're catching a flight, we're traveling together and we're going to get there on time. But if we're meeting at a restaurant and if we're meeting from different places.
It sounds like you're leaning to say why it's a good thing that she's late. And now I got into Wordle. So that's improving my brain.
I'm reading a lot. I bring a book up. I mean, that is the truth. I both bring what you're saying exactly as a joke is true, and I find it valuable to practice patience.
She comes late and she's like, "What'd you learn today in the last half hour?" Making you smarter. Like, oh, did you? And you're like, oh, did you hear about blah blah blah? And you're like, that's because of me. And...
yeah, I mean, there's this story about a Buddhist wise person who like was almost all the way to enlightenment, right? Like they were like equanimous, peaceful, loving nearly all the time, but they traveled with this cook who was annoying, the most annoying person that anyone had ever met if they met that cook. And so somebody pulls the guy aside and is like, hey, why are you hanging out? Why do you bring this most annoying guy with you? And he says, because he's the only one that I can still learn things like about myself, because the things that the annoying person makes him feel, he's like, I would like to alchemize those experiences to be able to be even more, to love everyone in the world the same way that a loving mother loves their child, even the most annoying person.
When you bring up her work, she used to sell fine jewelry.
That's right.
And you were kind of hoping she'd sell great jewelry, but okay, you got what you got. Too much. Did she dress you guys? Meaning, you more specifically, yeah, pink shirt, big pink rose. The special was shot beautifully, and you do look good, but it's not a style like I would think you would wear on your own. And the shoes are definitely, they match the pink, and they're saying, "Hey, how are you?" Was this her idea?
I mean, we definitely, like, since I've been with her, for when I perform, she is like my consultant. She is absolutely like, I won't just wear something because she thinks it looks good. Like, I also want to like it. Like, but this is also a special. So I was wearing, I'm performing in a theater that is also a synagogue that isn't, the normal place that I would perform. And we're dressing, I'm wearing a like a blazer, and I'm specifically not wearing like a button-down shirt because I don't love like the feel of a button-down shirt. A collared shirt like feels tight. So like the pink shirt feels good. I like how it feels. I also like how it looks. I like color. I'm a colorful guy. I enjoy the rainbow. So I like but yes, she did. We also worked in collaboration with, somebody on the show who, was assigned to be the wardrobe person, but, they helped, but mainly Rini and I went out together and went to different different stores and got like spent I feel like hundreds of dollars on like lots of different possibilities, brought them all, to the team. Like we decided what we liked best and like then returned most of it,
Oh,
I
I
love
didn't
the
know if you'd
shoes.
have
Yeah.
to do just more and more specials. Like, I got
Oh,
the
I mean,
fucking outfits.
I am gonna do it, but we had to get I got two of those pink shirts just in case one of them got ruined. Got
Sure.
two of the blazers, but afterwards we could return one of the blazers, etc. I think we bought like maybe 3 to 5 different pairs of shoes and returned several of them, but we kept two of the ones of the 3 to 5. Including the ones that I wore in the special, which are, I think, just by happenstance, pink on the bottom and kind of like bright, like a highlighter, like
Yeah.
neon yellow-ish. And I love them. And they're also Hokas, which I love just the feel of. They're like very secure for the foot. I don't know if you're
Okay.
into Hokas. Like nurses are really into them. They're just like good,
I see.
solid, sturdy shoes that you won't slip and fall. And so, yeah, I love them. I still, wear them more for special occasions, be it a special or other kinds of special occasions. But no, I love the collaboration that like the conversation that Rini and I have about like my outfit, because for me, I care mostly about comfort. I mostly don't care. I'm like, is my hair not sticking up? I'm like, right now, my hair's sticking up a little. I didn't take a shower yet today,
Right.
but I'm like, that's fine. That's what a hair can do that. And my shirt, this is like a shirt that I like the look of, but mainly it's comfortable. I'm wearing comfortable pajama pants. But when I go out in public, I recognize, especially when I'm performing, it's good to not be wearing pajamas necessarily. So I'm happy that Rini has both the skills and the care and the knowledge of who I am and what I love so that we can come up with, a nice combination of her vision and my comfort.
You mentioned in the show, so yes, she dressed you. So you mentioned in the show, um, how you've been performing this show and the two of you doing it together. Is
Yes.
she your manager now? Is this her job?
That is not so.
Okay.
She travels with me. I would say she is a co-writer, co-creator of certainly of this show. She is credited as such. And then for most of since like we've been together since in some form since 2016. And in 2018, she came with me to the Edinburgh Fringe Fest, and that was the first time that I believe our creative collaboration began kind of informally, where she just like watched my shows a lot and had reasonable like opinions and questions and curiosities about like she has said this. She has said, I could never be a comedian because I want jokes to make sense. And so sometimes I'll have jokes that like have joke logic to them and people
Right.
will laugh, but then the bridge has disappeared and you can look back and be like, but was that joke about anything? Did that actually
Right.
say something? Did it say something that was it true or was it not true? And so her influence has been very valuable in asking questions like that to say like, can this joke maintain how funny it is and also like say something true or meaningful in addition? So I would say that is the role that she plays, which, I mean, a manager could do that, but she is not technically officially my manager.
You mentioned in this special, you were talking about like energy and how it always goes. We don't even have the same molecules we do. Somehow, we all have Beethoven's molecules in us, and you end up making a joke about like being in bed, and she's like, "Give it to me, Beethoven." You're like, "What? I'm deaf," and because Beethoven was deaf. Uh, it made me wonder what you are like in bed, and do you get nerdy and goofy, or do you know how to fucking focus?
Great question. Again, I'll say sincerely, I do like for some aspects of I'm an open book for many things, for
Right.
my own personal things, for things that involve Rini, like this show, like
I
my
don't even care.
comedy. Yeah.
I'm
Oh
over
yeah.
it. I don't even give a shit.
I will say this. I think there can be goofiness.
You mentioned how at the Jewish weddings they step on glass. That you pontificate how that came about. I bet it was somebody that you said somebody accidentally broke a glass. They were like, "Yeah, you don't even know we fucking break glasses to celebrate." Everybody does that. I feel like that's the state of the world. People just trying to make up what the fuck. I wonder. if I was my dad for what was it, New Year's, we had this fucking ritual where he took honey and garlic and he would mince the garlic, put it on his, and he had, and first he would take his thumb, dip it in honey, make the, he was a Catholic priest, not that this justifies anything, but would draw a cross on our forehead, dip that thumb into minced garlic, put it in our mouth. We scrape the it off with our teeth, and the garlic is to make you strong for the next year, but may you be sweet as honey. The whole thing was fucking weird and as weird as it sounds, weirder than it sounds. Um. Anyway, what if like I don't? What if we were being molested? I'm thinking now. I didn't know where this would go. And my mom's like, "What the fuck? Your thumb was in your kid's mouth?" No, it's a ritual we do. Yeah, with garlic and other things. Yeah, what other things? He's like looking around. Honey. We use honey and garlic and doubt fire and like yeah, these people are just justified. Now they got to go with it, and everybody has to break glass at weddings now.
I think that is a brilliant analysis.
Thank you,
I
and a
like
great
it a lot.
analogy. Thank you.
Yes, analysis, analogy, absolutely. Like I do think that there is something to it that the way that human psychology works is sometimes we have a feeling and then we think that we're objectively assessing where that feeling is coming from with logic, but the logic is following it. We're like, well, I must be feeling this because of this, but there was something else that preceded it that we're not necessarily even always aware of. So yeah, absolutely. I think things happen in the world and we try to make sense of them and we try to, especially if it's something, if somebody's like, you did this thing, well, yeah, I meant to, absolutely, for sure, yeah, it happened, and I don't make mistakes, so that's how it is, man.
Does she ever? I picture like anytime she would, I don't know, be upset about something. You're such a positive person. You try to turn into like why this is good news. Why is it a lesson? You bring up, for example, people getting upset being stuck in traffic. Meanwhile, you're the traffic, so fucking take it in, enjoy. You're late to work, and go like, "Yeah, I did this thing." And then I can picture, maybe she's driving. You're like, "Don't worry, we're the traffic," and she's like, "Yeah, okay, we're the fucking traffic. I'm stuck here, and blah blah blah." Like everything doesn't have to be positive. Does that ever happen?
Literally no, because she does not know how to drive. So
okay.
But I will say I'll take the spirit of your question. In addition to the letter of it, and say, if she is upset, a paradigm that's helpful is, would you want to have a cheerleader or a coach or silence, right? Sometimes when people come to you with a problem, they want coaching. They're like, what do you recommend? Sometimes though, and I'd say maybe even a lot of the time, people really just want to be heard. So another paradigm is, do you want to be hugged, helped, or heard? And so it is absolutely a practice for me to not just be like, you know what you should do? Like to be like, well, what does she need? Like, I think she often does like for me to keep it like lighthearted, to not like join her like down wallowing in the dumps, because that can then perpetuate. But yeah, I definitely I do my best to not try to talk her out of the negative emotion that she's experiencing. I try to, listen and, commiserate, validate her feelings. And
are you good at that? Do you find yourself going like, that's horrible, right? You like that?
Yeah. Honestly, it was hard to get there, but like I think it did not come naturally to me,
right?
Based on how I was maybe, either my DNA or how I was socialized. But now that I know, I think once I know, it's not easy, but it is simple to be like, oh man, like that sucks. That sounds really hard. Like, yeah, I'll say I'm better at it now than I ever was before.
Yeah, I think I'm better at it. But it is tough because I think if it's like a problem that can be fixed, I do want the answer if you happen to have it. And it's weird that some people don't. It's interesting that some people don't. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I always think about the classic. You remember, as you've seen every movie, White Men Can't Jump, the scene where Rosie Perez is telling Woody Harrelson that she's thirsty. They're in bed, and he's like, well, then I'll go get you some water. And she's like, no, I don't want you to just get me the water. I want you to, like, be with me, understand that I got to go back and watch the scene for the exact language, but that's the spirit of it, that she's just like, I want you to hear me and, like, stay. And she's like, but also, do you want the water? Like, because I feel like that'll help. And so I feel like that makes sense. And that's why I think it's good to discuss, like, when people aren't upset, like, talk to them, have a conversation with our partners about the paradigm of when you're coming to me with what seems like a problem that could have a solution, like, how shall we address it? Like, what if I have an idea? Like, do you want, I'll listen and hear you for some amount of time, and then, like, give me a cue when it's time to be like, and the answer is, but, like, to just talk about it and acknowledge that even if the question has a simple answer on the outside, maybe there's some underlying, deep-rooted thing that won't be addressed just by having some water, even though water does solve a lot of problems.
I just give water. Anytime Liz complains about something, I just hands her water.
It's like turning the computer off and on. Try water,
I have a card, and that, you can put a check mark next to, do you want advice? Do you want agreement? Do you want a sandwich? And then I take it from there. Yeah, it's about communication.
Perfect. Yeah.
You mentioned, by the way, this is such a love letter to Rini that it, like, God forbid something goes south, I feel like you would work on the relationship even extra, because it's almost like being married. And, like, I really put a lot into, I really announced this is the fucking one. So I really got, because God forbid something happens. You gotta talk about your new girlfriend in the next special. If you made a love song for somebody and that didn't work out, and you're a musician, of course, you find somebody else. You probably got to make another love song.
I hear you, and Rini and I, we plan to be together forever. We don't plan to die, so I don't think that's going to come into play.
That's good.
But yeah, I mean, I acknowledge what you're saying, but I think the fact that the longest relationship before my relationship with Rini, which is coming up on 10 years.
All right.
The longest I ever had before that was 3 years. Okay. And the longest I had before that was maybe 2 years. I had a lot that were 1 or 6 months, right. Or even shorter. Like, I didn't make this special on day one. So right. I feel, I know that the future is always unknown. But I'm not worried. And I'm not putting out anything negative. I'm just saying this is a big fucking bold move. Yes, I accept it is a big fucking bold move. That's correct.
You mentioned first time you were married, first and only, but
yes,
was you were 25 and 28, and somebody would be like, "Oh, 25 years old, you're getting married. You made a mistake." And you're like, "Yeah," and then I fixed it.
Yes.
And now I'm out of there. I think it was the last stand-up special, and I was talking about my divorce and being in love now. And I'm like, who here is still in their first marriage? And some people clap, and I'm like, dorks. Because how the fuck could you not learn about, these fucking idiots? Yeah, we got to figure it out. Yeah, you got to, of course. You got to have lived life a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, some people do get lucky with their first one, and then I understand sticking with it. But definitely people who are in a long second marriage or a second big relationship, like, there is some definitely wisdom and breadth of experience that has been gained that is applicable.
Do I know the person that you talked about in this stand-up saying your last girlfriend, and you acted like this is a reason the relationship wouldn't work, but it's just silly, didn't understand the concept of let's make a deal, in that when they open door number 2 and you get the goats, they go, "Mwah, mwah, you lost." And the girl's like, "I'll take the fucking goats." First of all, do I know this person? Secondly, I agree completely. I'm like, I will take 50 jars of turtle wax. What's the joke?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think because I put her in there, like, I try to make her be as heroic as possible in that story, because even though I didn't understand that, it seemed like she didn't understand, I was like, oh, ultimately she had some greater understanding that I didn't have. And yeah, I think you met. She was it was Casey,
Okay.
who
Yes.
had been on the show. We lived together,
Yeah.
about 10 years ago. Yeah, before my relationship with Rini began.
Do you run by, hey, I'm going to tell the not that it's a deep personal story, but do you say I'm going to tell the goat story if you're cool with that? I think it's
I
funny. And then she's like, why is it so fucking funny? Trust me, it is.
I think that I think I did. I don't specifically remember, but I haven't. I didn't talk to her about it recently. But I've been telling that joke for since it
Okay.
happened. So
Right.
I think that I think she's aware. But if she's just finding out about it, apologies.
Will you tell me if people sarcastically rate you that you dated? Oh, I'm glad you're so happy. You could tell even if it's in text. You'll let me know,
I
right?
will tell you that.
Okay.
Yes.
I was sure. And of course I get the point that you were making at the end, and all that. But I
Yes.
was so sure you were gonna really propose. I
Uh,
fucking knew it. And I was watching this virtually with Liz, the screener you gave me, her at her place and blah blah blah. But we were sure something big was gonna happen in that regard.
I understand, and I will not reveal anything further, but I appreciate it. I'll just say that something big is happening,
Right.
and you understand,
Yes.
and I'm not just avoiding answering because I have another podcast elsewhere to do in 3 minutes. But
Okay.
this has been. I feel like the last times I came on, I mean, we're making up for lost time. I feel like it's been like tighter in the past, but this has been beautifully expansive.
Yeah, well, kind of ruins everything. And now we can be ourselves. She started all the fights
I thought it
between
was
us.
Adam, but okay. Uh,
But well, let me mention this then briefly. You do make some comments about proposing and how do you surprise somebody when you get on one knee, and then you talk about these stupid books and guides about how to trap women, and you talk like putting a cheese under a box, that kind of thing. Great knee work all around,
oh,
by the
thank
way.
you.
Yeah, I'm like I don't think I'd be able to do that, to be honest.
I think actually I just posted part of the clip of one a part of that joke about the different ways things that you can do with your body to propose
Right?
today. So
Okay.
it's on social media right now as we speak. If you want to get a 30-second snippet, but yeah. Also, you only have 2 days to wait for the full hour.
There you go. It's called Rini. It's on YouTube. You of course can click a button now to be reminded when it comes out. Be part of the party. Watch it with everybody.
Thank you.
That's always fun to do. Thank you. And again, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations. I do have to mention this because I don't want to leave people hanging. The Keith and the Girl Poker Tournament. We have poker every Wednesday. KeithAndTheGirl.com/chat. You don't have to play. You could just talk and yeah, but just understand when you share some personal things like, yeah, and then ICE arrested my wife. Somebody might yell, "Full House!" Oh, sorry. What were you saying about ICE? But it's a lot of fun. Again, every Wednesday around 8 p.m. Eastern, we show up, and every so often we have a tournament of the people who won first place. And the kid won again. I only say that to give people closure, but I am the kid, sometimes known as the king. And yes, I won the tournament again. And you're like, is this a repeat because you won the last tournament? No, it's a whole new tournament. But is this the tournament that you played when you were visiting your siblings when your mom passed away and couldn't really concentrate? No, that was yet another fucking tournament. I really am the fucking greatest. Somebody laughed at me, Craig at the time, and he said, "Oh, you think you're really good at poker now?" No, I'm horrible at it. I just keep fucking banging it out. Anyway, I needed people to know that. Myq, enjoy your next podcast. Have a great life. May this be the best day ever. May your lunch be fantastic. If it's not, feel less than. Okay, but I wouldn't change a thing about you.
Thank you, Keith. I love you. I feel the same.